Today, one Honorable Franklin Linturi appeared before the Parliamentary Select Committee, that is 11-member committee headed by Marsabit Women Representative Ms. Naomi Wako. This impeachment trial hearing preceded yesterday's pre-trial chambers hearing that wasn't in the public's, but for a better part of yesterday, it was also made public. Today, there were a lot of turns and twists in this case, and for a better part of the day, have spent it watching and following closely on the case that was being undertaken at the Nairobi County Chambers. This case today, what has come out clearly is that it is a classical case of power, money, and politics. You get the three: power, money, and politics. And in this podcast, our dear viewer, I will show you how one Honorable Francis Linturi family fights is going to send him home in the fertilizer scandal that the country did witness. It is his family fights that is going to send him home. Welcome to the Bold Analysis. My name is Oduor. I would like to remind you to continue subscribing to our YouTube channel rather, if you're new here, and turn on the notification bell such that you can be the first one to be notified whenever we upload new content. You can also keep engagements, keep commenting on our videos, keep liking our videos, and of course, keep the love by sharing our videos. Now, what came out clearly today is a question of responsibility. But it is a question of responsibility. How responsible was or is the current Minister of Agriculture, one Franklin Linturi? But then there is a question of, is Linturi directly involved in the fertilizer scam or scandal that did shake the country some few weeks or some months ago? Now, there are conspiracies that I want us to look at, and I want you to take your time keenly and carefully and follow. If at all you're planning to watch this while you're multitasking, then I beg you to just have your time and help us look at these conspiracies that we actually believe that are at the center stage or played at the center stage of today's impeachment hearing. And they might be some of the reasons as to why one Linturi has actually found himself in the center of this hot soup, for lack of a better vocabulary. Number one, there is the issue of Linturi marriage with one Honorable Mary Ann Keitan. Of course, as per now, the two are not staying together as husband and wife. Of course, this is a matter that is before a legal court of law, and we won't comment on the case as per se. But the issue of their bad or soon gone marriage has come today to play a center stage in this impeachment hearing. And in an affidavit that was submitted by the lawyers of Linturi, that is his defense team, in the affidavit, they tried to drag in the name of the current Aldai member of parliament, that is the former spouse to Linturi, Mary Ann Keitan, into the center saga of this fertilizer scam. Of course, this was met with hostility by the mover of this motion, that is Honorable Jack Wamboka.
Submitted by my good friend Linturi. And it's nothing more than a love letter from a jilted lover. That these are grievous matters of national importance, to be reduced to love matters. Ukiachwa hachika. Hachika. It is indeed unfair to keep dragging the good lady, my sister, Marianne, into these matters. She has a right kukukata, kukukubali. Allow her to proceed on with her life. Including the Honorable Chair, that it should be unfair that your private matters should keep coming up anytime serious matters are raised. The good lady should be left in peace because she has a life, she has a family, she has children, and she needs to move on. We shall speak. This is a select committee. We shall say that which we want to say and that which we think is important to this committee. I did indicate yesterday that very many people approached me to drop this motion. I refused. And in fact, I told one of them, I'm different from the Honorable Mithika Linturi. It should be understood, Honorable Chair, that the Honorable Mithika Linturi started a process such as this. This was going to be the second one in the new constitutional order. Had he been serious, he went ahead, he collected signatures, it was put on the order paper, his motion. What did he do?
Now, after listening to Jack Wamboka, I want you to understand the genesis of the problem or the bad blood between one Marianne Keitany and one Francis Mithika Linturi. Marianne Keitany, who is the current Aldai Member of Parliament, was the Chief of Staff in the then office of the Deputy President, who is the current President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable William Samoei Ruto. It was at this time that their affairs proved and grew fonder, and the two found themselves in a romantic situationship or relationship, and they lived as husband and wife. Because the reason as to why we're saying that they lived as husband and wife, when the divorce was taken to court, the court actually ordered Mithika Linturi to restrain and stay away from Marianne Keitany. Now, after this, love gone sour, or love went sour, and now Mithika Linturi and Marianne Keitany could not see eye to eye. Just take your time, keenly, and listen to this, because you might be asking yourself why you're dragging that into this, but it forms the background of why power, money, and politics is the leading or are the leading three factors that are going to contribute to Mithika's downfall.
Hawa wenye walienda kutengeneza fertilizer fake, mwache kuandika vitu kwa mitandao, mwache kufanya nini, tafadhalini. Yesu alibeba msalaba yake mpaka akasulubiwa, wewe beba msalaba yako mpaka siku ile utasulubiwa, na ujibie wananchi kwa nini uliwapatia fake fertilizer. President alisema mambo ni matatu, na tunajua hiyo mambo matatu. Tunasema lead from the front. Sisi kama food soldier tuko hapo tukusaidie, kwa sababu hatutaki wakulima wetu walie kwa sababu mambo ya mbolea.
I join the other leaders, including Marianne of Aldai and all the other leaders from Nandi, kwamba kwa wale ambao walileta fertilizer ambayo ni gushi, you will carry the cross.
The second controversy that is surrounding, or the second conspiracy as to why, or that based the discussion today, and as to why one Mithika Linturi might not have it easy, is on their family, the Keitany family business. The Keitany family link business. One, on this fertilizer scandal, there were two companies that won the tender that was advertised for the distribution of fertilizers. One is MEM Distributors and the other is KEL Distributors. I know that you might be aware of KEL Distributors if you are following this case closely, But ma'am, this is our center of debate today, and this is where the hot tea is. Because when it was realized that these two companies had actually supplied fake fertilizers, it was actually KEL that first realized that the fertilizers rather in supply were actually fake. And now they wrote to MEM distributors asking them as to why the tender that they won together actually involved fake fertilizers. And MEM didn't respond. Now KEL was the sacrificial lamb here. And do you know what one Franklin Linturi did? He revoked the licenses of KEL distributors. You remember at one point, the directors of KEL distributors were in media crying foul of how they were picked up at odd hours of the day, and they found themselves in State House, according to them, and they were now being lectured and forced into signing some consensual papers. From then, these directors are not in the public domain. We don't know whether they were arrested or whether they are safe or wherever they are. Now, these MEM distributors, actually the company is owned by one Collins Kipchumba Ngetich. Who is Collins Kipchumba Ngetich? Who is the major shareholder of MEM distributors? Collins Kipchumba Ngetich is now the brother to the estranged wife of Mythical Linturi, that is Mary Keitan. He is the brother. But now, Keitan at some point, that is Mary Keitan at some point, denied or said that it is high time that everybody carries their own cross. And from what we have established as the board desk is that Mythical Linturi and Collins Kipchumba Ngetich are actually business affiliates, could actually be business affiliates or business partners. And that is why it was easy for MEM distributors to actually win the tender, and it was easy for MEM distributors to float the tender, and their licenses remain unrevoked, and the licenses of KEL distributors be revoked. I don't know whether we are together up to that particular point. I don't know whether we are together. I'm just trying to give you some few seconds so that you can absorb whatever information that we have laid bare. Now, I want you, before we dig deep into this, listen to this video of Mary Ann Keitan being interviewed on TV saying that it is now time for everybody to carry their own cross. And before you listen to the video, just ask yourself, if Mary Ann Keitan is the sister to Collins Kipchumba Ngetich, then, and the way she is influential in the government, because according to information that we gathered as the board desk, is that Mary Ann Keitan is equally influential in government, because having risen from a chief of staff in the office of the then deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, one Honorable Dr. William Ruto, until now that Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya, and Mary Ann Keitan is the member of parliament of Aldai constituency. And Aldai constituency and Nandi constituencies, Nandi constituency is where, of course, our president comes from. And Aldai is also in the Rift Valley, and Nandi constituency is also in the Rift Valley. So, the power factor. So, it actually tells you that Mary Ann Keitan is somebody whom, if she speaks today, then a majority of people in government will listen. And now, why did she now decide to actually throw the brother in the cold? Listen to the video first. After listening, or rather watching the video, now there are two things that come into play. One is that actually when Mary Ann Keitan separated, or things didn't go well with Mythical Linturi, then Mythical Linturi must have had a way of which he made friends with Collins Kipchumba Ngetich, the brother to Mary Ann Keitan, and from then they could have possibly become partners. And this is something that might not have augured well with Mary Ann Keitan. That is why that could have formed the decision as to why she came out in public and said that everybody must carry their cross. Now, we are asking ourselves at this point now, why did Mithika Linturi choose to revoke the licenses of KEL distributors and leave the licenses of MEN distributors that is actually owned, or the major shareholder there is Collins Kipchumba Ngetich, who is the brother to Mary Ann Ketan, whom we have established that there could be a possible system of alliance here between him and Franklin Mithika Linturi. Now, the third factor, as you still absorb that, the third factor here, or the third conspiracy as to why Mithika Linturi is embroiled in a power, money, and politics, and that is between the three things. The third factor here now as to why he might actually go down is on the issue of the PS in charge of the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, and of course Development, the MALD. One Dr. Kiprono Rono might actually testify in this case. It might surprise you, but the PS in the Ministry of Agriculture might actually be called to testify against one Franklin Mithika Linturi. Listen to this. I know it's perplexing, and it kind of raises some pertinent questions, as won't it appear as a case of insubordination, and what of in the event that he testifies against his boss and then his boss survives the acts? What will be their relationship like? Now, the circumstances and the situations under which Dr. Kiprono Rono, who is the PS in the Ministry of Agriculture, might testify are if the 11-member select committee agrees to the mover of the motion, that is Honorable Jack Wamboka's request, to actually be allowed to bring in witnesses to testify in this case. And this might be granted because already the select committee had granted that permission to, there were about 6 farmers and 2 experts to testify in this case. So it wouldn't be a surprise to see Dr. Kiprono Rono being called to testify and might be labeled as a state witness. And I wanted to differentiate, because this process today of this 11-member select committee is something called quasi-judicial. It is not a judicial process, and that was made even clear by the lawyer standing in for Jack Wamboka, that is veteran John Haminwa. He said that these proceedings are proceeding on the question of perception and not technicalities, and that is why even there was not heavy judicial jargon being perplexed left, right, and center. So after getting that, if Dr. Kiprono Rono will actually agree to come and testify, then it brings the aspect that Mithika Linturi might have actually ignored the advice of his subordinates and chosen to bypass them and just award tenders directly to MEN distributors and KEL distributors without consulting or without being in tandem or in agreement with his peers, that is Dr. Kiprono Rono. And that could form a reason of some sort of fury or even some witch hunt from the government towards his case. Okay, now after that, I want us to proceed to the conspiracy number 4. Conspiracy number 4. I hope we are together up to this particular point. Conspiracy number 4 as to why power, money, and politics could actually form the basis, or actually form the basis of the impeachment motion today, or could actually inform the reason as to why one Mithika Linturi could proceed home. Number 4 is the question as to who is actually paying the lawyer that is standing in for, or that is representing the mover of the motion, Jack Wamboka, that is veteran senior counsel John Haminwa. Because for you to secure services of John Haminwa, who is a senior counsel in this country, then it means that you must be well managed for you to have the appearance, because you might as well go to his law firm and then you are granted the service of other lawyers within his law firm. But the man chose to appear in person and was very eloquent in his speech. So when John Haminwa appears, then it means that this is something even way much beyond parliament. Because if Jack Wamboka moved the motion and it is a motion that is involving parliament, then at the board desk we tend to reason that the parliament could have actually offered a legal officer to help Jack Wamboka push his case in this quasi-judicial process. But then there is that open question. That one, we want to leave it to you. Think of it. Who will be paying John Haminwa to represent Jack Wamboka? And also as you try to or attempt to answer this, ask yourself, why is it that Jack Wamboka is pushing this case solo? That is, as a lone ranger, as a lone man, even despite earlier bringing in issues like his life is under threat and of course he's afraid because of his security and etc. Why is he a lone ranger in this case? You saw the other day when the likes of Babu Wino and his team ground were trying to chase one Susan Nahumicha into impeachment. It was a team of lawmakers, but for this one, Jack Wamboka has decided to go solo. Ask yourself those pertinent questions. So at conspiracy number 4, we leave it at the question level. Now, I want you to get the conspiracy number 5 that formed the reason as to what that was revolving around the impeachment trial hearing today, and that forms the basis as to why power, money and politics could actually send or could actually be the real last axe on Mithika Linturi's fate with the lawmakers. There are serious claims. Sometimes back, this company, Mem Distributors, was formed sometimes back around July 2013. That is when this company, around date 16, I'm not quite sure of the date. I've just forgotten the detail. I didn't remember to highlight it here, but around 16th of July 2013, this is when the Mem Distributor company that we were talking about came into formation. And during a public works hearing before Parliament, these same Mem Distributors were actually flagged as having been given a tender to construct some 18 classrooms within a constituency in Bungoma County. And what this company did, they did a shoddy work and constructed 16 understructural classrooms, of course, which had to be done away with. And from then, this company, even with this kind of record, it was still able to come back and get a tender to actually supply the Ministry of Agriculture with fertilizers. Now, in the process of this, when Mithika Linturi was the senator, when he was a lawmaker, this same Mem Distributors director, one Collins Kipchumba Ngetich, was a director in one company, Barons Limited. And Barons Limited was owned by Ngetich, and the main directors in this company were Ngetich, as we've said, who is Mary Ann Keitan's brother, and Mary Ann Keitan is the estranged wife to Mithika Linturi. So, the Barons Limited actually went to court to sue one Franklin Mithika Linturi. They went to court to sue him. Why? Because he's accused of, according to court documents, he's accused of actually trying to forge or forging the signatures of the directors of this company, that is Ngetich, that is Mary Ann Keitan's brother, and the mother to Mary Ann, trying to forge their signatures in a bid to secure a loan of up to a tune of 530 million Kenyan shillings. Now, look at the circus. Look at the circus of Mary Ann Keaton, Collins Kipchumba Ngetich, and Franklin, I don't know why I keep referring to him as Francis, but Franklin Mithika Linturi. Look at the circus. Look at the circus, and now look at the circus of power, money, and politics. Now, in summary, power. Because Mithika Linturi had realized that now he was in power and probably the CS in charge of agriculture, then if they are allies with one Mr. Kipchumba Ngetich, then it meant that he could easily help Kipchumba Ngetich to get government tenders. Money. This is a common sense thing. We've delved so much on it, we don't want to talk about it. And then, of course, there are politics. So, even to the sponsors of this impeachment motion, or even the people behind the scenes, they are actually trying to play politics with the power and money, other factors, the other two factors. That is the end of the analysis on a classical case of power, money, and politics, and how Mithika Linturi is going to go down because of the three in the fertilizer scandal. My name is Frank.